Bonsoir à tous. Début de la conférence de presse Angleterre.
Good evening. The press conference for England is starting. First question.
On va.
Yes. Do you hear me? It's okay. First question for Eddie Jones. What is your reaction after this game?
Well, France are deserved champions of the Six Nations. They are the best team. I was pleased with the spirit and purpose our team played with. We created enough opportunities to win the game, but we weren't quite clinical enough in doing that. And that's been a little bit of the story of us in the Six Nations. We've put ourselves in position to win the 3 games we've lost, but not being clinical enough, not being good enough, particularly in some of our clean-out work on the ball to win those games. So that's disappointing, but the spirit we show is going to make sure that this team keeps moving in the right direction.
On va prendre une question dans le Teams. Si vous avez une question dans le
Teams, if there's a question from Teams, please raise your hand and ask your question.
Adam Attaway.
Hi Eddie, does this give you a snapshot of what you need to do over the next 14 or 16 months?
It's a great benchmark game for us, mate. You know, we're not far away, but we are far away, and the effort it takes to bridge that gap's important. But we've got a lot of good young players coming through. We've got some of the older guys, starting to play some really good rugby again. So we're going to have a good blend going through to the World Cup.
Grifton Wild, James.
Courtney, hello mate. Really hard day at the office in the breakdown there today. France gave you a lot of troubles there. Do you just want to talk us through your perception of that?
It's obviously a tough one. We knew they were going to target the breakdown hard. Credit to them, they've got great jacklers across the board, and that really showed today. And honestly, we weren't good enough in that particular area, and it cost us. So yeah, it's disappointing, especially considering we knew that was something they were going to target, and again something we need to learn from. But yeah, again, credit to France. They obviously had a game plan and they executed it well.
Une question en salle, s'il vous plaît.
Oui, bonsoir. C'est une question pour Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones.
Quel a été le tournant du match?
What was the turnaround in the match, according to you? Was it François Cross's try just before the break, or Gaël Ficou's action that seemed to be determining?
There was a couple of really big moments in the game. Definitely the try before half-time gave France a bit of breathing space, and then we had Dom Brown held up over the line. We get that try, and at that stage we're making most of the running in the game, and that would have put a lot of additional pressure on France. The thoughts of the Grand Slam in the last 10 minutes being 5 behind would have made the game very, very interesting. So they were the key moments, mate.
Hugues Godwin.
Hi Eddie, it's 3 defeats in the Six Nations for the second year in a row. It's below what the English rugby public expect. There'll be some tough questions asked. Do you still think you're the right guy to coach England? There's a lot of criticism being thrown around.
Well, that's not a question I need to answer, mate.
Why not?
Because I just do my job, and it's a question for other people to answer.
Who do you think needs to answer then? The RFU?
Look, I'm not even thinking about that, mate, so I can't give you an opinion.
Luke McLaren.
Eddie, is there a way you get your team as fired up with 15 men as they were with 14 men in the last game? I mean that just as from a coaching point of view. Is there a way you can kind of bottle that spirit that the team showed in the last game?
Well, I thought we played with plenty of spirit today, mate. I don't think there's anything wrong with the spirit we showed today.
Une question en salle.
Oui, bonsoir. Une question pour Courtney.
Question for Courtney.
Courtney, quelle est
Courtney,
la différence que vous
what
voyez
was the
entre cette
difference
équipe de France
between
qui
this
aujourd'hui vous a battu
French
et celle que
team
vous
that
aviez
beat you today
réussi à battre
and
l'année
the one you
dernière
defeated
dans le
last year in the same tournament?
They're a lot more accurate. They've got a much clearer game plan now, and they stick to it well. Again today, well, they've got some great players as well, and they rely on that, and they executed their game plan slightly better than we did. So they came out with the result, and again, fair play to them. They're a good team, and they deserve the win.
James. On Teams.
Was that for me?
Yes.
I think my hand was up from before. I do apologise. Sorry.
Okay. Will Keller.
Hi, Eddie. How far ahead of the pack do you think France are? Obviously, they've won the Grand Slam, but do you think they're a long way in the distance in the Six Nations at the moment?
By the results, yes. But I think you find that at the moment they are ahead and they deserved Grand Slam champions, but that can change very quickly, mate.
On va prendre une question en salle.
Room.
Qu'est-ce qui manque aux Anglais aujourd'hui?
What's lacking in the English team to try to catch up the French team for the World Cup?
Yeah, well, the World Cup's, by my calculation, at least 14 months away. We've got about 11 test matches, and within that time we need to improve our breakdown work. We need to improve our ability to finish opportunities we create. And if we do that, then the difference will be absolutely marginal.
Et c'est possible de poser la même question à Courtney?
Can I ask the same question to Courtney Laws?
Same answer. Yeah, the boss knows best.
James.
Eddie, one more from me. You had a bit of criticism in the week on the back three selection, yet you almost pulled out a masterstroke with Freddie Stewart on that right wing. Was your focus to keep France on the coast-to-coast sides of the pitch and try and attack those flanks?
Well, we wanted to keep moving them around, mate. The way they kick, you know, they've got a long kicking game, so we wanted to make sure we kept their big pack moving. And when we had the opportunity to move the ball, we wanted to do that. And I thought we executed that really well. What we didn't do was finish the opportunities we created through a combination of some inaccuracy in our breakdown work and some inaccuracy in our finishing passes.
Will?
Right, Eddie, a huge theme at the start of this tournament was you trying to add layers to the attack. Aside from probably the Italy game, you've come into the press conference afterwards and talked about your frustrations that you haven't been able to execute and score enough tries. Is that the biggest frustration you've got from this tournament, that you haven't been able to layer on the attack?
Well, I'm not really frustrated, mate. I'm disappointed with the results. What I like is the way the team's playing, and with time and with cohesion building between the players, that will finish those opportunities. This is all part of rebuilding a team. You know, I think one of the things that might be useful to look at in comparison to our team is how many years it took France to win this title. Does anyone have an answer out there?
Une question en salle.
Question from the room.
Oui, juste une question pour
One question.
savoir sur le jeu au sol, les rucks, vous étiez prévenu que
The
les Français
rucks.
étaient très performants.
You knew that the French
Et
were
pourtant,
very
vous
good
êtes beaucoup pénalisés
in the
dans le
rucks, and
domaine.
yet you got lots of
Comment
penalties.
expliquer qu'on ne
So
puisse
how do you
pas contrôler les
explain
Français dans ce domaine?
that you can't control the French in that field of a game?
Well, particularly in the first half, we were trying to move the ball around, which gives them more opportunities to poach at the breakdown. Yeah, sometimes they were just a little bit too good for us in that area, as they have been against most of the teams in the Six Nations.
Any other question on Teams? Des questions dans la salle?
All good. Merci beaucoup.
Donc la fin de cette conférence de presse. Merci.
The end of the English